ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. I'm so happy that you are all here today to support my foundation for my daughter, Kayla.
When the cameras turned off, the untold story of Brooke Bailey and her daughter, Kayla. Once the lights dimmed and the cameras stopped rolling, reality hit harder than anyone could have imagined. The glitz and glamour faded, and what remained was something no parent should ever have to face: a mother's worst nightmare. Brooke Bailey, best known for her role on Basketball Wives, often seemed like she had it all under control. She was strong, stylish, and confident. But on the early morning of September 25, 2022, her world was shattered.
Prayers go out to Basketball Wives star Brooke Bailey and her family as they mourn the loss of her daughter, Kayla.
At around 4:00 a.m., Brooke's only daughter, Kayla Nicole Bailey, was in a devastating car accident. Just 25 years old, Kayla had so much ahead of her: a thriving business, modeling gigs, and a bright future full of possibilities. In a split second, that future was taken away. News of the accident spread quickly. Social media exploded with posts and messages from friends, fans, and celebrities.
According to Kayla's last Instagram story, she was at a nightclub with friends on Saturday night. She left the club in the front seat of a vehicle. A couple of her friends and an unidentified driver were also in the car. Sources report that shortly thereafter, Kayla sustained injuries after the vehicle was involved in a car accident, and she passed away at the age of 25.
People who knew her, and even those who only followed her online, shared their heartbreak. Nicki Minaj was among the first stars to comment, saying, "Pretty girl. I love you, Brooke." Others from the reality TV world like Evelyn Lozada and Shawnee O'Neal also offered their love and support. Brooke later posted a deeply emotional tribute on Instagram. She wrote, "Forever my baby, pretty black. This isn't goodbye. Mommy will see you soon." It was a message filled with raw pain, the kind that only a grieving mother could understand. Kayla wasn't just beautiful, she was bold, driven, and full of life. She had a presence that lit up any room she entered.
Reality star's daughter in an interstate crash in Memphis early Sunday morning. We have since learned the driver of that car also.
She wasn't waiting for success to find her, she went out and built it herself. She owned a hair business in Memphis called K&B Incorporated and was making a name for herself in the modeling world. People admired her for her hustle and determination. But as tributes rolled in, so did questions that wouldn't go away. Something about the crash didn't feel right. Eyewitnesses at the scene described details that didn't line up with a typical car accident. There were no clear signs of swerving or an attempt to brake. Some said the wreck looked deliberate. That alone raised concerns. But then investigators looked into Kayla's phone records and uncovered something even more unsettling.
Others sharing this heartbreaking post on Instagram that reads, "Forever my baby, pretty black, aka Kayla Nicole Bailey. This is not goodbye. Mommy will see you soon."
Just minutes before the crash, Kayla had made a phone call. Not to a friend. Not to 911. She called one person, her mother, Brooke. That final phone call would change everything. Sources close to the investigation later revealed what Kayla said during that call. Her voice was shaky, full of emotion. She sounded tired, overwhelmed. The words she said to her mother were heartbreaking. "Why are you hiding everything? I can't take the pressure anymore. I quit." And Brooke's reply? Just 4 haunting words. "I accept all." It wasn't just a goodbye. It was a cry for help. A desperate plea for the truth. To understand what that call really meant, you have to understand the life Kayla lived. Born on March 2, 1997, Kayla was raised in a home where strength and independence were valued. Brooke worked hard to provide, and Kayla followed that example. She wasn't just another young woman chasing fame online. She had real goals, a business of her own, and a growing reputation in her community. From the outside, Kayla and Brooke appeared close. Brooke often shared photos of Kayla's achievements, expressing pride and love. But like many mother-daughter relationships, theirs had layers. There was love, yes, but also tension. And underneath it all was a missing piece in Kayla's life that never quite got resolved. She never knew her father. Every time she brought up the topic, Brooke would shut it down. No explanations. No names. Just silence. And over time, that silence became heavy. Kayla wasn't angry, she just wanted answers. She wanted to understand where she came from, to feel whole. But the truth always seemed out of reach. Close friends say she had been quietly searching for information about her father for years. She wasn't trying to cause conflict, she just needed to know who he was and why he was never in her life. That question why stayed with her. And maybe, on that night, it finally became too much. That call to Brooke just before the crash wasn't a coincidence. It was intentional. Kayla needed answers, and she made one last attempt to get them. But instead of the truth, she got 4 cold words: I accept all. No comfort. No clarity. No closure. It's impossible to know what exactly happened after that call. All we know is that Kayla's car crashed shortly after, and she didn't survive. Whether it was an accident, a tragic decision made in the heat of emotion, or something else entirely, those answers remain unclear. What we do know is that a young woman who had everything going for her died with too many questions left unanswered. And for Brooke, the pain of that final conversation must be unbearable. This wasn't just about losing a daughter. It was about losing the chance to heal, to be honest, and to connect on a deeper level. It was about a wound that never had the chance to be repaired. The world remembers Kayla Nicole Bailey for her beauty, drive, and spirit. But behind the headlines and social media posts was a young woman who carried a burden she didn't deserve. She wanted peace. She wanted truth. And in the end, she left the world still searching for both. No one can turn back time. But perhaps telling her story honestly, without glamour or filters, is a way to honor her not just for how she lived, but for what she was seeking. Kayla deserved more than silence. She deserved answers. And now, all that's left is for the world to keep asking the questions she never got the chance to have answered. It felt like Brooke had finally let go, but the question is, let go of what? Was it guilt that had built up over the years? The fear of being judged for her past? Or the regret of keeping something so important from her daughter? Maybe it was all of that. Or maybe it was something even deeper, something we may never fully understand. When police started looking into the crash, it didn't take long for them to realize something felt off. The timing of Kayla's emotional phone call, the way her car was found, and the lack of usual crash signs, it all pointed to something bigger than a simple accident. Investigators were suspicious from day one. Eventually, Brooke was brought in for questioning. And for the first time in over 20 years, she opened up. She admitted what she had never told anyone, not even Kayla. She revealed that Kayla's biological father was someone she had tried to erase from both of their lives. He was a Nigerian man Brooke had met during a wild, reckless period in her youth. According to Brooke, he was involved in serious criminal activity, the kind that had drawn the attention of federal authorities. Once she realized she was pregnant, she made a choice to leave that life behind, to protect her unborn daughter from anything connected to him. She never looked back. And she never told Kayla the truth. In Brooke's eyes, she thought she was doing the right thing, keeping her daughter safe from a past that could only bring harm. But hiding the truth didn't erase it. It only created more questions. Questions that Kayla had been asking quietly for years. And the more Brooke refused to answer, the more it pushed them apart. By the time of the crash, their relationship was strained. Kayla felt like she had been living in someone else's story, not her own. She had dreams, plans, and was finally stepping into her own identity. She was set to launch her beauty brand KNBB the same day she died. It was supposed to be a fresh start, a chance to build something with her own name, her own story, her own legacy. That business wasn't just a project, it was her future. Some say Kayla had hoped that her father might see her success and reach out. Even a message or a simple call would have meant something. But instead, she was met with silence. And in the end, it was that silence that seemed to break her. That last phone call to Brooke wasn't random. It was filled with pain, disappointment, and frustration. She wasn't asking for anything fancy, just the truth. Just something real. And when she didn't get it, that moment became a turning point. What was meant to be a celebration became a tragedy. As the news of Kayla's passing spread, fans of basketball wives and supporters online began to ask questions. One person commented, "You don't just crash like that after calling your mom in tears." Another wrote, "Why didn't she call 911 if it was just an accident?" That kind of regret doesn't just fade away. Not with time. Not with therapy. Not even with sympathy from strangers. And now, there's one more haunting question: what else haven't we been told? Let me know what you think in the comments. Your voice matters. Your thoughts might help someone else going through something similar. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more real stories like this. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and always tell the truth before it's too late. This is Celeb Nova, where the drama ends and the truth begins.